I'm going to share with you what it is like to be manifested by someone else. So I had not seen this person in at least 10 years, maybe 20 years. A few days ago, when I met them, they told me that a few days ago, they had been speaking about a memory with me from whenever we were children to someone else that also knows me. And it was just a very random memory. It was a very short memory. And they also thought in their mind, they told me that they thought in their mind they were probably going to see me, because they have an assumption that whenever they talk about someone else, that they tend to then see that person show up in their reality, right? And in my mind, I'm sitting there being like, this literally happens to me all the time, and I know exactly why this is happening. So when they were experiencing that, when they were speaking about me, I did not have any thoughts about them. I did not feel their presence. I didn't see any signs of them in my reality, anything like that. However, literally yesterday, right? So a few days after they had shared that memory, they'd spoken about me, and they thought, oh, I'm going to see that person. And that was the assumption, by the way. That was what actually drew me into their reality, because they thought, oh, I'm going to see them now, right? That was the assumption, because I've also had that thought with people that I've not seen in maybe over 10 years, 20 years. Or I've even had the assumption that like all my relationships last, all my relationships are really happy. And then I've literally just seen more and more people from my past, people that I haven't seen in 20 years, and now we're friends, right? So this 100% works. Now, literally last night, I just had the most random urge to go and book in for a beauty treatment. I never really go get a beauty treatment. Like, I just rarely do it, and I always tend to go to the same people. But for some reason, I was compelled. I just had this urge to go and book in at this specific place. There was a list of 12 names. And again, these are only first names, so I didn't know who any of these people were. I just put to be put with any random person. I didn't put any preference. I just said, okay, put me with anyone. Because I'm very trusting like that, right? I just trust I'm going to be with the best person. I just ticked, okay, whoever. It put me with this person. Again, I didn't see their last name, so I didn't know who it was. Literally today, I walk in to get my beauty treatment, and it is this person. And she's like, do you know who I am? And I was like, oh my goodness, yes. And then she literally sat and told me how she was only speaking with me a few days ago, and she thought she was going to see me. And she'd spoken about this memory of me. And it just proved to me a few things. That's why I had to make this video, because it's happened to me so many times as well. It reinforced a few things to me, right? So now, number one is the law always works. The law always works, which means whatever you're focusing on, you're thinking about, you're speaking about, and most of all, what you are assuming, you're assuming who you're identifying as, I am someone who, right? And whatever you're assuming, whatever you're thinking about other people is literally what will be reflected and shown back to you in your reality, okay? And that version of them that you hold in your mind, however you expect for that, assume that they're going to show up, will be how they show up. So basically all that matters when it comes to manifesting a specific person, whether it's someone that you want someone to be nicer to you at work, or you want to have a friendship with someone, you want to manifest a new love, or you want to manifest a relationship with a specific person, literally whatever it is, you have to literally decide within yourself that you already have that person, that they're already showing up how you want, and you're assuming, like, of course, that this is already done, regardless of what you're seeing out there, right? It's not your job to figure out all that. the next thing that it reinforced was literally, it does not matter what has to move. People will be moved, circumstances will be moved, and the other person and also yourself will be taking actions that don't even feel like, you're not actually thinking about it. It just feels like as natural as breathing, like a compulsion to go and do something, or an urge to go do something, or whatever it is. There's no overthinking, which means that also reinforced to me that you don't need to try to control how it's going to happen. You don't need to control or know how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen. You don't need to try to manipulate things. That is not your job. That is literally not your job. So whenever you're assuming something, whenever you're making an assumption, whenever you're seeing someone in your mind in a certain way, it's like that is you planting the seed. That's you planting the seed to be shown back to you, to be birthed, to be grown, to be harvested, to be reflected, to be shown to you in your reality, right? But your only job is literally to plant the seed. And anytime that you think of that person, you think of them in a way that aligns with what you want to experience. So, yep, I already have this friendship with this person. Yep, this person is already my loving partner. Or yes, this person's already being so nice to me. Like they love me. Of course, duh, right? Literally just choose anytime that you think of that person to go into already being the person that is experiencing what you want with that person, right? So assuming, oh yeah, they're probably going to text me. Oh yeah, they're probably going to call me. Oh yeah, I'm probably going to hear from that person. Oh yeah, of course. Like, and then if it's a deeper relationship, of course, we have the best relationship. Of course, our relationship's so perfect. Of course, they love being around me. Of course, they love being with me, whatever it is, okay? And the more that you're doing that, you're literally you're putting the input into the computer that is then bringing the outcome of what you're seeing on the screen, right? It's like whatever keys you're typing on the keyboard is basically determining what you're going to see back on your screen. So instead of focusing on the worries or the doubts or the fears of like, but when's this going to happen? Or, oh my goodness, they haven't texted me back. Or, oh my goodness, but we had this argument, or it's been this long, or whatever, like BS, logical, it's logic, because it's really just your ego trying to keep you in default, what's familiar. Your ego really is just very evidence-based. It's just believing what it can see currently. But you know, your higher self knows, your higher power knows that your reality is a reflection of internally who you are first. So you have to recognize that whatever keys you're typing is literally what you're seeing shown back to you. So instead of focusing on all the BS of what you don't want to experience more of, choose to focus on the end result, right, of what you want to experience with that person. So choose to focus on, yeah, everything's already perfect between us. We're already happily together. Our friendship is so amazing and perfect. This person's already so nice to me. They're already giving me the promotion. They're already the best client ever. Like whatever you want to experience in your reality. And identifying as someone who always gets what they want. You always easily get anything and anyone you want. That already is experiencing this, that is already loved, that is already a cherished, loved, valued girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, friend, successful business owner, successful in your career. Like start to really identify and see yourself as someone who's experiencing this, and feed your mind with Imaginal acts, as in if you visualize with your eyes open or with your eyes closed, seeing this person showing up exactly how you want, seeing what you want to experience as if it's already real, and how does that feel in your body? Like, engage your 5 senses, engage your emotions if that also is something that you can tap into, or maybe you just feel neutral about it, like, yeah, it's really not a big deal because this is my reality, this is who I am now. And then also choose to let it go, right? Choose to see it as it's the easiest thing in the world. It's the easiest thing in the world. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter what you think, no matter what you feel, it is happening, it is done, it is inevitable, because you keep coming back to the knowing that, yep, this is done, this is already mine. They're showing up for me, they're doing this, they're doing that. Like, they literally, in your reality, because everyone has their own realities, in your reality, they think what you think they're thinking. They say what you think they're going to say, and they act in a way that you think that they're going to act. So anytime that you have that old fear, the old doubt coming up, just say, nope, that's the old story, and then come back to the new knowing of, or come back to the knowing that, nope, this is who I am. Everything's already worked out. How would you be thinking? What would you be saying? What would you be doing in this current moment right now? How would you be showing up in this current moment right now if you already had it, if you already assumed that it was already worked out? It's already worked out. So how are you showing up? Who are you being? How are you thinking? How are you thinking about them? How are you seeing them? How are you feeling about them? What are you visualizing in your mind's eye? Right? Anytime that you think about them, remind yourself, this is already done. They're already mine. They're already showing up in this way. I'm so grateful. Come back to the gratitude, the sense of gratitude, the sense of normality, that it's already yours. It's not separate from you. And therefore, you're shifting into the state of having. And when you shift into a state of having, again, that's just literally being reflected back to you. Your reality is always reflecting back to you who you are, what you believe you have, what you're seeing, what you're focusing on in your mind's eye, the stories that you have and hold of other people. They literally have no choice but to show up in that way. Right? So let this be a reminder to not focus so much on the how or the when, because literally people will be moved. Circumstances will be moved, and it is inevitable that you will get what you want because it's already done.